made this video yesterday, but someone commented on it saying they were against the harem, so I'm redoing it. And before anyone asks, I usually don't change the fact that I may give harems to people, so this is rare. And due to request of this, I don't know your name, sorry I forgot, and going back to it would just be the biggest pain in my side since it takes 5 minutes to load anything on my phone, so I'm sorry, dude. But yeah, I'm redoing this video. What if Issei was with Koneko and Kuroka? Sorry if I sound a little hurt, guys. My foot's asleep and I'm having to stand on it, so yeah. I'm in a little bit of pain. So, whatever. We start off with Issei actually being, just as I said, a three-tailed, whatever it was. A three-tailed cat thing. I don't know what it was. Anyway, unlike the one and two-tailed as Kuroka and, Koneko, which actually has one little problem that has to happen. Whenever the same devil that got him, that picked up those two would happen, he would hate Issei. He was trying to get an all-female group, and whenever he saw Issei, he was like, I can't just tell them I couldn't get him. And then he actually brings photo evidence that Issei was at least dying or dead at this point for longer than 5 minutes, as just having what looked like a dead Issei, taking pictures of that, saying whenever we got there it was already past 5 minutes, and apologizing to them with a fake smile on his face. Though he was kind of pretty happy he was able to kill Issei, which was not a small feat. His strength was comparable to, I'd say, a mid to high class devil. And that's not even fake. Like, he's that powerful. He even makes Kuroka look like a child in strength-wise, even though she's older than him by a few years. And this kind of saddened, it saddened Koneko and Kuroka. They both were really sad, and they actually were kind of tearing up. But when they accepted this, that he wanted them to live, and literally let these devils come take them in, even though he was basically gone, she wanted to live for him, for him alone, and would die alone if that's what it took. Kuroka and Koneko seeing that the same way, but never forgetting him, not his name or his face. He was a brown cat, though, unlike them. While they were a black and white cat, he was a brown cat, with some green fringes, and with green and red fringes on him, which makes him look a little odd, but still. He was basically a mighty tiger in sense whenever he went berserk. He was that seeming overwhelming. Now, unlike Koneko and Kuroka, Issei is not that good with his, magic. He's more physically powerful and would rather use his claws than anything. And they beat him up, ripped apart one of his ears, put a hole through it, and tore his tails up with blades and everything. They were tortured Issei. Then when he only survived off the boosted gear, awakening and saying, "You're not dead yet, partner," waking Issei up almost a minute before he would have died, and this forced Issei to stand on his feet and walk home. Though the food he had caught sadly got away, because what he had caught was kind of taken by the devils for snacks. Now, this made it where there was no food in the house, so he was completely starving, deciding, screw it, as he'd always remember them, but if they're gone, they're gone. They're with that devil, and he has no way of finding them. This enrages him, and he actually almost goes berserk, but he lets loose. He lets himself calm down for a minute. He swears to get strong enough to find them, even if it takes 100 years. And then we skip over to present day, which is about 2 years later. And while he thinks it might be Shirin, actually, it'd be 2+ years. I'm gonna say it was 5. It would be 3 years at most. It's actually gonna be 3 years after. Like he went to Kuo, and he never sensed Kuroka or anything, so he didn't think they were there. But he thought he sensed Shirin, but this chick was nothing like Shirin. She was odd. Her name was Koneko. It seemed like Shirin, but could it possibly be her? He was never willing to take the risk of finding out. And she thought it looked like Issei, but it couldn't be him. She saw a dead body laying on the ground. There's no way it could be him. Kind of gritting her teeth a little bit, saying, but if it was, could it be? But then she kind of let her head drop in sadness, noting that if he was alive, he would have found them already. Thinking he would have, done everything in his power to survive, but not knowing where he would be. Now, this would change a few things from canon. Now, he's still going to save them, but he's going to be more friendly and not harem-y with them in this version. Now, that's the best I can kind of do for this one to help the dude out, but they're still going to be having a crush on him, even if he's going to just fight for them. But that's the best I can do. Sorry. So we're starting this what if off a little bit differently. Like I was saying, as he basically met that one girl and said, I don't know, I don't think so, because he still loved Koneko and Kuroka. But then she said, just one time, please. And he said, sure, whatever, just get her off his back for one date, and that's it. That Saturday, they go out on a date and everything, and he's like, then she said, I guess I had a little bit of fun, it was pretty fun. And she said, would you die for me? And he said, no. Really? As she summoned 3 light spears, each one about to pierce Issei, Issei going with his tails out, saying, you sure about that? Seeing the ears and tails saying, it's you. You're that power one. No, 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 no. What are you doing here? I should have just killed you. As his Drake's gauntlet appeared, catching one of them, saying, you couldn't kill me. Just for her to call the other 3, and 2 of them appear instantly. That would be the other 2 girls, and Issei said, oh, 2 more to add to the party. Alright. Cracking his neck, saying, alright, maybe I can get a little bit of fun in this one. Just as since the lights were hitting him in the back, saying, who dare? As one got him in the back again, as he's noticed that there's 4 different light spears, any direction he turns, he gets hit. And he just tried to jump up. This is when a sword of light flings down at him, which he barely is able to block with the gear. 5 on 1, huh? Good job. You could actually hit me with this. But too bad. As he starts heavy breathing a little bit, panting even at some point. How could I lose to them? They're just 4 fallen angels and a stupid priest. Hearing this, Free said, how dare you call me a stupid priest? Going actually to go hit Issei with the sword again, just for Issei to kick him in the stomach, saying, not done yet. As we see a bloodied and battered Issei just barely standing, with his knuckles bald, and actually a claw coming out of one, with one knuckle bald in his right hook, and his claws from his left. As a giant dragon claw, assisted by cat claws, slung and actually was able to slice up Donaseek's chest. And he said, as 3 light spears pierced his chest, all continuously, and was able to fall through his back, and he said, at least I could take one of you with me. As he tries using a dragon shot just for it to be hit with another bullet in the wrist. As he hit the ground, thinking of Koneko and all them, even a little bit of Rias, thinking, if only I could have checked if it was her, as he hit the ground like a rock. Then, he wakes up the next day, knowing he still felt a little bit of pain in his chest, but he didn't feel like he was actually hit. He didn't see any, hole or anything. So, he was just confused. Maybe he just hit himself in the chest whenever he was asleep. That wouldn't explain the pain in his arm, though, from where he got shot. And his leg and back. Well, whatever. As he starts walking, walking away, no problem. Not even having a little bit of a struggle, just for the most surprising thing to ever happen. When he made it to school, he noticed that she was looking at him again, wondering if he should comment or anything. Then, this is when Issei, would go through that normal day, and then, next day he would wake up with Rias in his bed, and he's like, what the crap, what are you doing in here? And he's like, and he said, sorry, I'm actually saving myself for marriage, so I don't think anything could have happened. And she said, don't worry, everything's fine, nothing happened last night. I was just healing you. And he said, wow, well, I did notice you feel a little bit better. Really? How much pain is left in it? About the same as getting punched in the chest. So it should heal over time. Yeah, sure, whatever. So, why are you naked in my bed? Healing process? Whatever. Alright, come on. Out of bed. Get ready. Get going. I gotta get to school, too. As Issei then walked to school, and she said, by the way, I'll send someone to go fetch you, to talk to you about something. Alright. Now, this made it where Issei started walking away. When to school and everything, that went normal. And then afterwards, Kiba still picked him up. He was like, what's good, Sword Boy? What's good, Prince, or Kuo, whatever? Not really caring. Then, whenever he got there, he was like, from a distance it seems similar, but there's no doubt this is exactly Shiren's power. And then he said, hold on a second. Shiren, is that you? As Koneko looked and turned her head saying, is that really you, Issei? Yes, it is. It's been a long time. Koneko saying, I thought you were dead. I thought you were taken by a different devil. I kinda was. Kuroka killed that master, and then Miss Grimmery took me in. Hearing this, he's like, well, finally someone could kill him. This is when Koneko would ask, what do you mean by that? Well, I mean, whenever he beat the crap out of me with his entire barrage watching his back, he said he was going to take you to do experiments on y'all, and he'd never die. By that I mean he said he would literally do experiments on y'all and give y'all power so that y'all could protect him, and even make y'all join his harem whenever y'all had enough strength. If y'all survived the experiment, that was. Koneko hearing this saying, what? Yeah. I mean, honestly, it kind of surprised me a little bit that, Kuroka was able to stop him. He beat the living brakes off of me. I mean, yeah, he had his parade at his side, but still. Wait, so that bloody and beaten up picture he showed of you that was after what he did to me. I would have died if it wasn't for Drake. And this is when Koneko would say, thank you, Drake. Back to the what if. So, this is when Koneko would say, Drake, kind of lifting her eyebrow, as Issei popped Drake out saying, this is Drake, the dragon inside the gauntlet. Wow. Kind of surprised, Koneko would say, well, thank you, Drake, for protecting my Issei. This is when everyone was a little bit surprised. Wait, what? Akano would say, wait, you two are dating? I mean, this is when Koneko would basically sink her claws in saying, he's mine alone. Issei saying, are you sure about that? Because last time I checked, I was you and Kuroka's together, remember? I got both of y'all. Oh, I remember, but until she pops up again and tells her side of the story of what happened with my old master, you're just mine. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I've got a pretty bad cough right now. I don't know what it's from, but we can keep going for the video. So, yeah. Issei just straight up said, alright, whatever. And he just starts doing his thing, asking what piece she took up. And this is when Rias would say, like I was saying, she's my rook, Kiba's my knight, Akino's my queen, and you're my pawns. Wait, how many do I take up? All 8. Haha, sweet. Doesn't that mean I'm like 4 kings? What do you mean by that? Well, I mean, technically, wouldn't that make me able to be, when I boost all the way up, in promotion queen for all 8 of them, and each king's worth 2 queens? That makes it where I'm just about 4 kings, right? Hearing this, Rias would say, didn't look at it like that. I guess so. Alright, sweet. Wait, if I can promote to anything, right? Yeah, other than the king piece. Sure. What if I was to, I don't know, turn into a rook for one piece, a queen for another, a bishop for one, a knight for another? Well, you'd take up 4 different pieces, but you'd get absolute speed, strength, magic, and just and perfect and better control over each of them with the queen piece's help. Wow, so if I went into that, but there would also be a struggle as being all contained in one would basically tear you apart. So you usually have to stick to only one thing, or just all 8 of them being that single thing. Hearing this user would say, oh, that kind of sucks, then yeah, I can still make it work. Good, now I've got some training things lined up for us. We have to go fight a stray devil. Issei saying, sweet, let's go. Him seeing the stray devil saying, that's what stray looks like? Wow, I'm surprised. It was the same one talking smack to Rias, and Issei's like, ayo, stray. Stray turning his head, actually trying to attack Koneko. Issei saying, nope, kicking the thing's leg, almost completely snapping through it, and going with one solid punch that put a clean hole through it, saying, yeah, no one's hurting her. What are you? That devil said while looking at Issei. I'm Issei Hayota. I'm the Red Dragon Emperor, and the last of my kin. As he showed all 3 of his tails, I'm also the only guy who can outpower the famed Nekushu, or whatever, the Nekushu. And that's just what I'm going to say since I really don't know how to pronounce the name. The Nekushu sisters of Yin and Yang. I'm the strongest in the world, and I will never be defeated. Hearing this, she's like, no wonder, as she died. This is when Issei started popping his neck, saying, yo, Koneko, you want to move in with me? Yo, Shirin, you want to move in with me? I go by Koneko now. So, yo, Koneko, you want to move in with me? Sure. Sweet. Next day, Issei wakes up with Koneko on his chest. Not being that surprised, thinking it ain't a big deal. Not really caring what's gonna go down for the next day, but then he meets, Asi the same way, and says, hey, yo, Koneko, go to class, go to school. I'm gonna guide her to where she needs to be, okay? Koneko's saying, alright, don't be too late. He's saying, don't worry, I won't. Guiding Asi all the way to the church, and then basically bull charging to school at double speed, which double speed is kind of like going twice as fast as he should be going for a human. So he usually has to limit himself to human speed, but he chose to double that so he can actually get to school on time. He actually winds up running right and getting next to Koneko, saying, whew, I got back up. Dang, that was hard. I mean, you just did go through about half a city in distance. Yeah, and you're still about half a mile from school. Yeah, we still got time. As he kind of calmed down and started walking again. And they talked about things, what's going to happen, and she said she wanted babies. And Issei was like, wait, what the hold up? Koneko, can we please hold off on that for a while? And she said no. She wanted kittens. And Issei could either provide that, or she would take it. And Issei said, no, calm down. I'm fine with that, just maybe not right now. What do you mean? Well, I mean, we can't really do it right now. So, clarify this. If we do it right now, then it'll be kind of messed up because you're still, like, not old enough, Oh, please, you're just 8 years older than me. Exactly. I can get in trouble for that. No, you can't. And he said, oh, look, there's some excuse. What do you mean some excuse? As he just straight up took off. And he's like, ah. And she's a little pissed off, saying, oh, he will get it tonight. Kind of scaring Issei as he knows he's in for a beatdown. Now, he basically lands there, everything else is canon. He still has to deal with, like, dealing with Asya and Freed, basically just spinning and kicking Freed in the jaw. Then having to deal with the entirety of the next thing, which would be dealing with the Riser fight, which actually went way surprisingly. So Rias pops into Issei's room in the middle of the night, straight up with Koneko on Issei, you know, them doing the deed, and sees something she wasn't expecting. Wait, what? Yeah. As Koneko basically said, "Hello, President." What is it? As she said, "Issei needs to sleep with me." And Koneko saying, "Hell no." Issei saying, "Wow. Nice." And Koneko saying, "Why would I give her my man to you, President?" Well, it's kind of simple. She said, "I need him just once. That's all it will take to remove the marriage thing from going down." Koneko saying, maybe. Alright, but I have to be there. And this is right when he says that, "Alright, sweet," and he's about to go do it, as he straight up just gets grabbed by the throat by Grafia. And Grafia, not expecting what had happened, is Issei's ears and tail came out with his gear on one arm, saying, "Who dares grab my throat?" In a gruff kind of voice, because he's literally got some air circulation cut off, as he flexed his neck, which actually widened Grafia's hand a little bit around it, saying, "Wow, that was more powerful than I expected from you." As you hear boost. So what is it? Well, Rias can't really sleep with someone this low. She has to get married, and he's like, "What? Okay. Well, I mean, it's all up to Rias, really, so not you." Hearing this, Grafia is like, "Who do you think you're talking to? Who do you think you're talking to?" As she sees the red gauntlet saying, "The Red Dragon Emperor." And, seeing the ears and tail saying, "You're Issei Hayato, aren't you?" "Yeah." "Of fucking course you are." "Fine. Whatever. Rias, your parents would be very disappointed if you took this path, whatever, yada yada. Come on, let's go to the club room. Have your Queen Akano join us." And Issei's like, "Alright, whatever. Later. See you tomorrow." Rias saying, "Alright, see you tomorrow." As Issei said, "Well, what was all that about?" As Koneko jumped back on him saying, "Let's keep going, let's keep going." And Issei's like, "Fine. Let's go." And then he looks exhausted the next day. And Koneko looks as happy as ever. He was like, "Dude, rough night?" The roughest. You know, Rook's strength is kind of a pain in the ass, as he is kind of just popping his neck. "Whoa, she really did you that bad?" "Yeah." "Wow." As Issei then sees Riser say, "Riser has arrived." And the first thing that happened was Koneko got in front of Rias, and Kiba was there right next to her. As Issei popped in front of Koneko, and Kiba, looking down like he was about to fight full force, gritting his teeth, gear unlocked. Gear wasn't quite out, or any tails or nothing. But Koneko had gotten so used to sleeping with Issei, with her tails and ears out, she was willing to use her next two powers against this guy. With her ears starting to pop out in one tail, Issei's then popping themselves out as well, with the gear out as well. Riser saying, "What the? Huh? The Red Dragon Emperor." Not something I was expecting to see, especially one that's part cat. Whatever. Only cute cat girls should have ears and tail, dude. Not cool. That's destroying every guy's fantasy. And Issei said, "You think I care? I don't care. F you. Fight me, nerd." Hearing this, Riser's like, "Oh, really? Well, move out of my way, peasants. I need to speak to my betrothed." Rias saying, "For the last time, I am not going to marry you, Riser." Now, this actually kind of angered Riser, and Riser said, "Then rating game me." And this is kind of what Grafia said, "Alright, that's what's going to have to go down. You have to rating game, and whoever wins, wins." And Issei's like, "Oh, so I actually get to fight him? That sounds fun." Hearing this, Riser's like, "Oh, really?" Snapping his fingers as full barrage came out, and Issei had an idea. A really messed up idea. He walked over to the two pawns, and right behind them stood the bishop, which is Riser's sister, and he actually took the two cat girls and sang "Madams" with his tails and ears out, and then going over to Ravel and kissing her hand. Young madam. Seeing this, Riser was pissed. One, the two cat girls he had are now fawning over Issei. Two, the rest of the girls in his barrage are looking at him kinda hotly. Three, and this is the weirdest one, his own sister is. And this is royally pissing off Riser. And Riser actually says, "You punk," going to actually attack Issei just for Issei to sidestep it and put him on the floor with kind of a foot on the back of his neck, saying, "You sure that's gonna work, bud?" Seeing this, Griffey would say, "Enough." Issei said, "Really?" Powering his own self up to where he was even to Graphia. Graphia felt the power even to her own, saying, Are you still holding back?" "A little bit, yeah." "Alright, whatever." As Riser, who actually has access to a special fog that is the same one Kuroka is using, the one that doesn't hurt dragons, but it really hurts devils and Nekshu. Well, Nekomata. Whatever the name was, Nekomata. And being that Issei has the Drake thing still going for him, this would still not hurt him as bad, but it would still weaken him significantly. Now, he's planning on either handing his peerage was handed one capsule and told, "Fight Issei." And Issei said, "If you think," and Riser yelled, "If you think you're so tough, fight my barrage right there, you only. I'll fight the rest of your barrage." Issei, hearing this, he's like, "Oh, this is gonna be fun. Yeah, y'all go whoop him, I'm gonna whoop his barrage all at once." This is when Koneko said, "Don't get any dirty ideas, got it?" Issei said, "I won't," as he's kind of scared of Koneko ripping his head off, and they still do the whole not caring much. And the first thing that had to happen was, oh guys, by the way, yeah, they still got Asya, so yeah, she lives with Issei, just she doesn't jump in bed with Issei. She still finds it comforting, and Koneko lets it happen, but she doesn't get to sleep with Issei the way she does. She just sleeps next to him. Now, Issei is doing his main thing. You know, he basically is walking up into the sports area and then just straight up blew up the gym. This surprises all the girls, like, "What? I thought we were gonna fight in the gym." No. I just tried to fight in the crater I left. "What?" "Yeah, look. Wow. Not expecting that. What kind of magic was that? Explosive." "Really?" As the bomb queen saying, "Hey, that's my thing." "Well, yeah, you're the bomb queen. I guess I'm the king of all bombs." "You little bombshell." Hearing this, she actually started blushing and saying, no one had called her anything like that, and Riser actually yelled at her, saying, "Don't get distracted, kill him." Hearing this, Issei started laughing, saying, "Oh, they would if they could," as they actually all went at him at once. Bombs, attacks, literally everything was hitting him. But Issei wasn't even phased. Every attack would just bounce off of him, and he said, "Alright, enough." Opening his eyes with his ears and tails popping out, as well as the gauntlet, saying, "Alright, come on." Outdoing the knights, knocking them both out. The rooks, he struggled a little bit, knocked them out. The bishops, he actually laid one of them out, and the other one he calmly laid down after, a swift chop to the back of her neck. Then he went through every single pawn except for two, the cat girls. And he said, "Hey, yo, are y'all really cat girls, or is that like stuff y'all wear?" And I don't know if they were real or not, but I'm going to say they are, and they said, "Yeah, we are." He's just saying, "Wow, no way. Huh." So I guess that makes a grand total of 5 cat people. What do you mean? There's me, there's Koneko, my king's rook, the rook. Yeah. There's Kuroka, and there's you two. They're the only 5 I know. They're the only 5 I'd ever seen. I count myself, I've seen myself at least a few times. Alright, that's actually surprising. Well, you ever want to join the winning team? Just let me know. As he had knocked both of them out, saying, alright, now. As he had only one person left to fight, the queen. Now, she actually chose to break the vial. Kind of shocking Issei that they had one of those. As he said, you know that was a really bad idea, right? What do you mean? Well, I'm given the Phoenix blessing, which means I don't get affected by it. Hearing this, he says, damn it. Whatever. As he goes, blowing a full force of wind that blew it out of the way. And then saying, was that all you could do? As she counted through explosion after explosion, unexpectedly having more capsules. Only a handful, though, since they were just as expensive as Phoenix Tears, which are not cheap. As Issei basically saying, alright. And he actually originally barely was able to beat the queen, saying, ooh, full barrage. That was a good workout. Well, good warm-up, at least. As he said, well, now it's time for the big boy. As he sees what he was never expecting to see. Kiba and Asya held by the throat. A kick that cleanly knocked Koneko on the ground, almost snapping the neck of Kiba and Asya just for them to both pass out. Then, whenever he's about to go land a hit on Koneko, both Rias and Akino both shoot their magic at him, just for Koneko to get up and try punching him, just for it not to work, and get sent flying into Akino. And Akino and Koneko both get knocked out by this. Now it's just Rias and Riser. Issei saying, hey Riser, let's run these ones, boy. Hearing this, Riser's like, oh, so you were able to defeat them all. Alright, let's go. And they basically start clashing fist to fist. After an intense battle up, Riser notes how he's utterly outmatched when he does something very underhanded. When Issei goes to punch Riser and hit him with a special attack, he was hit with a special, with the same, moisture thing, the cloud stuff, the fog stuff, that actually hurt him a ton and put him on one foot, saying, of course you do that. Issei not being able to see this coming, thinking they used all of it, as he's already absorbed so much of it that he's barely even able to stay on his feet. Now, this made it where he was barely on his feet, even for a few seconds, until he starts going fuzzy and blacks out. Right when Riser's still going to kill him with a hit, Rias has to surrender. Issei, pissed off by this, wakes up saying, oh, okay, let's go. As he completely geared up himself, just, throwing on a black tank top, just a black tank top and some blue jeans, and he just threw on some regular tennis shoes, saying, I won't need to wear my school attire to do this. He busts in, saying, sorry if I'm not dressed fancy enough for y'all, but we run ones, Riser. Riser saying, oh, we already did that, though. Remember, you lost. Yeah, because you had that stupid smoke stuff. Riser having none on him since he was basically out of it after Issei absorbed all the stuff he had. And he would only have another shipment coming in 2 months, which was only 7 canisters. So, yeah, he was royally out of luck. Alright, guys, back to What If. So, yeah, he utterly beat down. He got up there in Riser's face, and this is when Sozak said, I offer you one simple thing. Any one wish you want. Rias Grimory. I want to be able to choose what she wants. Hearing this, Sozak said, that's all you want? Alright, go ahead. Snapping his fingers, as making a portal for another realm for, them to fight in. And this is when he asked if he could promote, and he was told, yes, you may. And he said, promotion. Rook. Hearing this, so you're going with an all-out brute force at me. Won't be very useful. Oh crap. As he saw Issei charge up in a balance breaker and start walking forward. His ears and tail both showing, but armored, little bit by little bit. Kind of scared at what's about to happen, as all he sees is Issei's foot digging to the ground for 1 second, and then he's gone. He's behind Riser, beating him to a bloody pulp. Every punch he does isn't to kill Riser, but it's only to hurt him. He only hits places where it would hurt more. It would be as much pain as possible. He wasn't trying to kill Riser. He was trying to destroy him. Riser, feeling this, is actually enraged by it and actually hit Issei in the stomach. Issei looking down saying, "Is that all you got? You didn't even leave a scratch." Lifting his shirt to show his six-pack abs saying, "Couldn't even leave a scratch on him? Oh, that sucks for you, Riser." Riser being pissed, saying, "I'll kill you." Issei saying, "You and what army?" Riser then saying, "I don't need one." Actually being able to scratch Issei's face with a kind of heated nail, which barely even cut Issei. Issei saying, "Good job." But a little bit of blood ain't enough. And it was all that for a drop of blood. Good job, Riser. As Trev just kicked Riser like a field goal through the stones. Like, he kicked him so hard that Riser's family jewels almost came out his nose. But that was his full force kick Issei could do. That kind of kick is the only thing Issei could kind of actually call the most dangerous kick he's ever done. And that's kind of fair, for it is the most dangerous kick he's probably ever done. But it's also pretty dang useful, as even though it was his most dangerous kick, it was also his most used one. On Riser, at least. Riser feeling the pain of it, saying, "I don't think anyone's ever had the ability to do that." As this is when Riser's little sister would still sneak in there trying to stop Issei, seeing Issei just beat down on Riser. Every kick and punch he did would just about kill Riser, would come close to killing Riser. At one point even saying, if you don't die from this, maybe it'll be fun." Riser hearing this saying, "I can't die from the likes of you," going to punch Issei just for it to get stopped in his hand and twisting his arm backwards, saying, "Oh, good job," shouting in like 7 different places. And this is when Riser's healing factor wasn't taking effect. He was out of healing. Your stamina's empty, Riser. Though it takes a lot of damage to deal it, someone can still chip away at you. Riser's saying, "How'd you know?" As Issei's just beating the crap out of him at this point, walking around with his hands in his pockets, just kicking Riser in the back and chest and everything. Right when Issei chose to pull up his full force and yell, "Dragon shot!" As right when he's about to connect, he actually stops his fist an inch away from the ball that he was about to send. As Ravel is standing there with her arms out, protecting Riser, and Issei said, "Move, little girl." Koneko saying, "That took a pair. I don't think even anyone here would stand in Issei's way, given the power he just showed and the fact that he probably is holding back still." Which he is. Without that stuff, without that gas almost killing him, he's completely fine. And he actually stood it back up saying, "Whatever. Now, what? Get out of here." "Wait, you're just letting me leave?" "Obviously. I don't see a reason why not. You're weak. No match for me. Even if you were to use every bit of energy you had, I'd be fine." It's not even a flex, it's just true. "So, if you want to come at me better. But you're still going to lose." Kind of pissing Riser off to hear this, he said, "Whatever." As Riser would start walking away, just for Issei to say, "Oh, by the way, here." As he threw him something into his stomach, saying, "What's this?" And this is when Riser would open the bag just to get hit in the face with kind of something he'd never expect. It was a bag full of spiders. Pissed off spiders. Riser seeing this and feeling them, saying, "How could you? I am the heir to the House of Phoenix. I shall not be attacked by spiders." And he's trying to burn them all off with his little flame as he has left, but he has none left. And he's like, "Later." And then we have the Kokabiel arc, which he says is nothing but training in between every arc I talk about, so yeah. So whenever he just meets Kokabiel, he's like, "What's good? What's poppin'? Don't mind me, just dropped in. Take a swing, what's poppin'?" And he straight up just kicked. Like, we're gonna skip over everything, because everything just goes as canon until we have to deal with the whole busting in moment. Like, whenever they go to fight the Cerberus, that's where it mainly changes. Issei just straight up says, "Yo, Koneko, what? Come here. Everyone else take that other dog." As they were all struggling with that other dog, while Issei and Koneko were just beating the crap out of that dog, both in cat ears and tails. This is when everything would kind of start going, funnily enough, crazy. As this is when we see a very, very beaten, a very surprised Gasper Galilei just straight up see a flying Kiba, as Kiba was basically, once the sword was finished, Issei said, "Hey Kiba, what?" As he grabbed Kiba by the belt and said, "Yay!" Kiba was basically flying in with a sword saying, "Yeah!" And Koneko's like, "What the fuck?" Boom! Stabbing right into the side of Galper Galilei. Though Galilei's not dead, he sees, as he had done the same taunting with that holy mnemonic sword, stabbing him before Kokabiel could launch a light spear. Though when Gasper showed that he was when Galper showed that he wasn't useful to Kokabiel anymore, he just straight up killed him, saying, "Hey, you didn't need to know that." Right now, looking at them, saying, "Let's fight." Issei cracking his neck, saying, "Gladly." And every step he took started to scare Kokabiel. As every step he took, you hear boost, boost, boost. And his ears and tail started to glow a little bit as 4 blue fireballs would surround him and hit him in the chest, saying, "What?" Whatever. Every hit he did started to actually hurt him a lot more. Knowing, as he says that, "I just balanced all your chi. You're basically dying." What? You need to either see a chi master or a high-class healer. We have both of those things, but we're gonna beat your ass. Kokabiel saying, "I knew it." And every swing he took started to get slower and sloppier, just for Issei to start kicking him in the mouth every time. And every hit that... And right whenever Issei was like, "Alright," as he powered off of his balance breaker, just for seeing something he wasn't expecting, the white one appeared and started beating the crap out of Kokabiel, taking his wings off, and said, "I'd like to fight you later, right now, my rival, but I can't do it right now, later." Alright, as Issei basically just started walking away, with actually a little bit of help, as Koneko said, "Stop acting tough," as Issei collapsed onto her, saying, "Thanks." He only turned off the balance breaker because it's already absorbed all of his energy that he had, and he straight up just hit the ground, and he was just struggling to stay on his feet. Then he had to deal with the whole, talking to them, meeting Gasper and all that. And Koneko actually helped him and Gasper, and Koneko actually was really being nice to Gasper and helping train Gasper, and Issei was training him how to be tougher. And yeah, as this is when a very surprised, which I'm going to say something would have happened whenever that monkey dude was to actually step in to stop Issei, and Kuroka was actually to come out of nowhere and start throwing, and start doing those fireballs to surprise Issei. This is when she noticed who it actually was. That was Issei. And she yelled, "Issei, Shirin! It's been a long time, you finally found each other." Issei saying, "Come down here. I wish we could talk so much, but I don't think we can." Just for Issei to be right up in her face saying, "It's been so long." As his gear all went down, he said, "It's been so long." And this is when she noted, "How are you not dead?" "Oh, well, the demon that tried killing me wasn't strong enough. But we saw your body beaten to bloodiness." "Yeah, Drake saved my life on that one. Thanks, Drake." "Anytime, partner." "Wait, really?" "Yeah." And this is when she started reevaluating who she was with. The white dragon or the red dragon. She wanted to stay with the red dragon. She wanted to turn to the side of the red dragon and her sister. Now, at this point in this version, Kuroka actually was able to get herself cleared and said, "You know what, Volley? Goodbye." Leaving Volley entirely, saying, "Hey, so could I join you?" So there's actually being like, why are you joining us? Well, I mean, Issei and my sister. Alright, well, whatever. Your trial is going to happen in a few days, so I don't see why not. Stay with them for now, and Issei can protect them. Alright. So, nothing happens for those few days, and then Kuroka actually gets shown, like, with all the evidence. Boom. Issei is shown to be off, where Issei and them can actually hang out now. And all three of them are going with every night. Issei just having to deal with both of them on him going crazy. And Issei at some points even having to crack his neck, as painful as it is, having to deal with them. Now, while he is by far capable and willing to, it's just exhausting. Now, then we gotta deal with the whole rest of the things. Everything goes kind of canon, then on. Well, not quite. The yokai thing, his kind of connection to them being a yokai himself, at least half yokai, saying, huh, so that's what my people are like. Wow. Actually having to use the same booby lingual and going through it all the way up until he has to deal with the whole booby lingual 2 dealing with. And I mean, the Loki fight, that goes basically identical. Now, then we gotta deal with the whole, now we've gotta deal with the, Cyborg fight. That will go basically as canon, but in the final moments, Issei actually grabbed him and balanced his chi completely so he would heal fast. Right to Cyborg saying, heal well, my friend, as he himself fell forward and went right into Shining Blue as this happened. Noting that made Rias the winner. Still, though, so she barely won, as both Riser and Issei hit the ground, while she was still standing, and the pawn guy was done as well. This made it where Issei would go on to live a happy, fulfilling life, and whatever. He would basically go on to actually have multiple, like, kids with both Koneko and Kuroka. This made it where there was about 5 from each of them, and you might be wondering, that's a lot of kids, right? Well, I mean, they're cats, so yeah, that ain't much to them. And he raises each of them, I'm gonna say he has about 4 sons and 6 daughters. He raises each of the boys to be able to fight with enough power to shatter the world. And each of the girls doing the same, but their mothers mainly is who they take after. Although one of Koneko's children seems so much more like Kuroka, and one of Kuroka's children seems so much more like Koneko, that's kind of shocking. But in the end, they were living a good life, and Koneko actually built into her body, like filled in, where she looks a lot more like Kuroka in shape and size. This made it where Issei was basically waking up every morning with beautiful babes on him. And one day, he just says whatever. And this is the kind of last day for him, as they actually have lived their life. And that's basically where we're ending it off.